Welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. I'm Telecommunications here in Lagos. But first, the biggest political stories we're tracking for you at this time. Well, this eats deep into the pockets of Nigerians who are set to pay 50% more for calls and internet access on their telephones as the Nigeria Communications Commission gives telecoms companies the green light. We'll hear from the subscribers on the show today. And the Edo State Governor Monday Okwabolo swears in 6 new commissioners and the chairman of various agencies, as well as election, oil and gas, and education boards. Let's talk about the 2025 budget. The National Assembly is concerned about the allocation of funds to the Ministry of Solid Minerals in that budget document, querying plans by the federal government to diversify the nation's economy. Well, during a joint session, the Senate and the House of Representatives Joint Committees on Solid Minerals expressed doubts about the government's dedication to reducing its dependence on oil revenues. The Minister of Solid Minerals, Mr. Dele Alake, who appeared before the committees, outlined the difficulties in securing adequate funding for his ministry. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Mezoke, reports.
As the 2025 budget's defense session resumes for the week, the Ministry of Solid Minerals appear before the National Assembly Joint Committee on Solid Minerals.
Distinguished senators, honorable members.
The minister highlights proposed allocations for 2025, outlining concerns over inadequate funding for the sector.
We made strenuous efforts to engage these authorities or the individuals driving the budgetary process of this country and intimated them on the need for an upward review of the solid minerals budget.
Clearly astonished by the budgetary revelations for a critical sector, other lawmakers are anxious to know why. As a result, the relevant ministers are invited.
The Minister of Finance, the Minister of Budget, and the DG Budget Office appear before this joint committee tomorrow to offer insights in respect of what clearly has been observed as insufficient funding.
Elsewhere, it's the turn of the Minister of Labour and Employment to meet with the Senate Committee on Employment, Labour and Productivity.
It's been long that you reviewed the rates that are applicable here to these various sources of revenue. I want you to review the rates upward.
Ongoing efforts to combat the nation's unemployment crisis becomes pivotal.
Our offices are inundated with pressures from unemployed young Nigerians coming to seek assistance from one senator or the other to enable them get employed.
We have each and every hour been fighting unemployment in the ministry because that is our key assignment. We need to do something about this. But all the same, we are training Nigerians, particularly youth, in empowering them with skills that will make them self-sufficient, self-sustaining.
By the same token, the finance minister at a separate session reassures on the inflation rates target and ongoing efforts by the president.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he saved the economy, he saved the society. How did he save the economy? In his time, every penny spent has been earned, and I think I've said the capital expenditure for next year, where will it come from? Increased, and I'll just run through it, increased oil production at elevated high prices that we have now.
A total of 38 billion naira is approved for the ministry. Meanwhile, armed with an envelope of 83.7 billion naira, the Minister of Housing is seeking more funds for 7 critical programs of the ministry, including the Renewed Hope Cities, to further advance the nation's economy. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Well, after months of debate, telephone subscribers in Nigeria will now have to pay for more for data and airtime, as the Nigerian Communications Commission on Monday approved a 50% tariff increase for telecoms operators in the country. In a statement, the spokesman for the regulator, Mr. Ruben Morka, said the price adjustment, though lower than the over 100% requested by some network operators, was arrived at, taking into account ongoing industry reforms that will positively influence stability and rather sustainability. The statement adds that the increase is pursuant to its power under Section 108 of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 to regulate and approve tariff rates and charges by telcos. Well, the NCC said it recognized the financial pressures faced by Nigerian households and businesses and remained empathetic to the impact of tariff adjustments and has mandated telecommunications companies to implement a new tariff transparently. As of December 2023, Nigeria has over 224 million subscribers, that's according to official data by the regulator. But how are Nigerians responding to this, particularly the subscribers? We have joining us on the show this afternoon Mr. Adeolu Ogubanjo. He is the president of the National Association of Telecommunications Subscribers, NATCOMS. He joins us virtually from Lagos. You're welcome to Lunchtime Politics, Mr. Ogubanjo.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Well, they say they asked for 100%. NCC even said that, more than 100%, but they got 50%. Is this acceptable, at least from your own point of view, for the telecommunications subscribers?
Thank you very much. I must say that the telcos can ask for 500, 1,000%. They're in business to make more money and profits. However, how can you come from, what we are, to now be demanding 100%? It's not it at all. And there's so much for subscribers to bear. Already we are grappling with, a lot of things that is surrounding, the business climate here, fuel costs, electricity costs, and all that. You're now looking at another, telcos asking for 100%, and NCC now is granting them 50%. No, it's a no, sir. And we are definitely not going to accept this.
Let's maybe look at some of the reasons given for this decision, right? And they talk about the operating costs in the context of the inflation we've seen in Nigeria. When the electricity, the discos wanted to increase, it was almost 200% plus, right? For band A, that is. Then we saw the price of petrol also going over 1,000 naira, the price of food. So in that context, they've said it is really unfair to still keep the tariffs where they were years ago. They've not had the chance to increase their tariff. So for them, it was inevitable. It's either they increase the tariff or they shut down. And I wonder if you've weighed their own side of the argument. What would you say is a fair percentage at this point? If 50% is too much, clearly 100% is way much. What would you say is fair? And have you considered their own line of argument?
Yes, we have. In fact, some economic experts, in the likes of Uncle Bismarck Rewani, Financial Derivatives, and one other organization had already said, yes, the telecoms industry is currently in intensive care. That being said, the telcos now followed up with that, saying that they may start load shedding. That is, one area will have signal today and the other area may not have, vice versa. And we don't want that. So that's why we did say earlier that, look, a 5 to 10% increase will be fine, judging from all their complaints. They even talked about their radio equipments, being supplied in dollars, which we also understand. That is why we are looking at, a 5 to 10% increase. 50% NCC's grant is a no-no, and we would want to call on them to please bring it to our demanded 5 to 10%. It's not it at all. Whatever reason, they've been making profits all these years. Yes, the last increase was in 2013. That's about 12 years ago. Yes, they've made so much profit. Let them plow it back. Or, okay, a 5% increase. Beyond that, a lot of telcos are owing each other. Telecoms A may be owing Telecoms B. They're not paying, within themselves. Again, the banks are not helping matters either. The banks are also owing them so much that they're stifling, the telecoms sector, thereby, bringing a lot of burdens to the subscriber. And they can also do one or two things: go to, the stock market, recapitalize, do initial public offerings. All that money will come. Nigerians want to invest in their business. We want to, be part of it. We'll buy it. Funds will come. That is, if the 10% increase isn't much. There are so many windows open to them. If they must raise funds. I also understand that they are owing about 1.5 trillion. Fine. Go to the stock market. If the 5 to 10% increase, is not enough. A lot of things they could do.
I'm not sure how much of this negotiation you were privy to if you were maybe given a seat on the table, as one would expect, as at least to speak the side of the subscribers. Is that something that happened during this process?
Yes, I must say that on January 9, the NCC called a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, which I attended. And every stakeholder stated his case. NCC also stated their case, but no agreement was reached. Yes, a stakeholders meeting was called. We were invited in Abuja, and I was there with other stakeholders, and everybody stated their case. Nothing was arrived at all. NCC stated theirs, we stated ours with other stakeholders, and there was no decision.
So this must be shocking to you, because the NCC says that, it is meant to create a telecommunication environment that works for everyone. Everyone meaning protecting the consumers, supporting the operators, sustaining the ecosystem that drives connectivity. So is this shocking to you, saying the 50% after that meeting that no agreement was made or was reached, rather?
Quite honestly, it's a bit shocking because even on, January 8th, the minister came up with, this increase stuff, that it will be increased, but that it will not grant 100% as the telcos have demanded. With that, we went to Abuja and held this meeting. It was so shocking to now hear that yesterday, it was trending all through yesterday, the social media, that it has been increased to, they have now granted 50%. It's shocking. Right. And it is going to be very, very terrible for subscribers. Because beyond shelter, housing, and clothing, shelter, and the three basic needs, communication is next. And I'm telling you, it is now essential to livelihood and life. So they shouldn't, come on. No, it's not going to be tolerated, sir.
Well, I also want to get your thoughts on what you'll have proposed to be a better process for this. Because I think there's some sort of agreement that, yes, you can increase. You say 5 to 10%. They had asked for more than 100%. Now they're coming to 50%. So what could have been a better way to implement this? Because from what you said, I'm not sure how many Nigerians will be able to now pay extra. Imagine you were paying 5,000 naira for data. Now you'll be paying extra 2,500 naira. That's 7,000. Bless you, sir. That's 7,500 naira that they will have to pay if they were paying 5,000 naira before. For a minimum wage earner, that has taken more than 10% of the 70,000 naira, minimum wage. So what would have been a better way to implement this? Some have suggested a phased process. Will that have been a better option?
Well, an option that will not overburden the subscriber will be welcome. And 10% to start with, between 5 and 10% to start with, is what we are looking at. A 50% increase? No. And again, engage stakeholders, hear their views. Let them, this is what we are looking at. Yes, an increase is imminent, but we may be looking at this much percentage, that much percentage. And then we wait, and then we can talk. Although, I'm sure NCC will still open, a further corridor for discussions over this. A 50% increase will not be tolerated at all. At all.
2 points I'd like you to speak to. Right.
Sorry?
Two things I'd like you to speak to. So what is the next line of action for consumers, or rather the subscribers now, who, by the way, has consumed the data and all of that? What's the next line of action? If you say we're not agreeing to 50%, what options are available to take?
Well, thank you very much. We will obviously convey this between today and tomorrow to the Commission of dissatisfaction on this, and then tell them, look, we will not tolerate more than 10%. And then by next week, we will have to go to court if they are not listening to us. If they still want to implement 50% increase, we will challenge this in court. But that is the last hope of the common man. That is the last hope of the minimum wage earner. Because telecoms, communications, is bringing smiles to everyone. You can reach out to the village, although they're trying to also get data into, the inner villages and all that. Yes, they can do that, like I did say earlier, through raising of funds, capital markets, stock exchange, IPOs, including the 10% increase. With all this put together, they'll get there. A situation where they are now going to overburden subscribers with 50% increase is a no-no. We will definitely challenge this in court, sir.
So what do you say to that line of argument that the sector is literally on life support? That some of the drop calls we see, or some of the erratic service that we see or experience, is as a result of the fact that they're not able to meet up with their costs based on the current tariff. So what if the telcos still stick to the guns and say, well, if you don't allow us to increase, then whatever you see, you take? Is that something that you think that at least they have some sort of justification for?
There is no justification after giving them, to start with, we have said to start with, do a 5 to 10% increase. Look at that. If that is not enough, we have given them options. If that is not enough, all those people that are owing you, the banks, let them pay up. The banks are really stifling, the telecoms sector. And the banks need it to do everything. Their teller machines, their ATMs, the POS operators that are attached to them. So many things. Why are they not paying? Again, why are they owing themselves? Telco A is owing Telco B, is not paying. Let them do all this, garner all the money, and then ensure that if that is not enough, then go to the capital market, do IPOs. There are options, not 50% increase.
So this calls for some more creativity. The subscribers, you say, are not the first place to start. On a final note, sir, the question around service or the quality of service, did this come up at any point? Because for a lot of subscribers and users, they've not had the best of service. And I'm even talking prior to this point. Some cannot, they've paid for data, they cannot use the data. Some make calls that they don't get quality service. Even the speed of the internet, it's erratic. You have to download maybe 10 MB. It stays for quite some time. So where is the quality of service in all of this? Is that something that came up during the conversation? What did the telcos say about it, and what is their promise?
Yes, I must say that they have always been saying that, look, they need more money to fund all these things, quality of service. For instance, you'll be lucky if you are doing an online, transaction, with your bank, with your app, and transaction goes, and, maybe 7 out of every 10 will go through. But those 3 that may not, be through, may be through later, and then the following morning, it will now debit. Unfortunately, a lot of fight would have ensued. Sorry, you didn't credit me. I credited you the money and all that. We don't want all that. And that is why we said, okay, yes, you need funds. We accept, it's hard for us to actually accept that. Do 10% increase and then explore other options as we have been saying, to raise funds, and then ensure that you also get paid, let the banks also pay you. And then do the needful. Don't overburden subscribers with so much percentage increase, like 50%. No, sir.
Well, I'll wait to see how this plays out. Next week clearly will be a big one. But we've been speaking with NatCom's president, Mr. Adeolu Ogunbanjo, at least speaking for the telecommunications subscribers. Thank you so much for your time on the program, sir.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll wait to see how things unfold in that sector. Let's talk about politics in Edo State. The governor of the state, Senator Monday Okpebholo, has tasked new commissioners to prioritize teamwork and remain focused on serving the people of the state as they deploy their skills, loyalty, and expertise, which he says earned them their nomination. He gave the advice shortly after supervising the oath-taking ceremony of 6 new commissioners and chairmen of boards in the state. Well, the new commissioners are Paul Obamu, Mary Olabisi Itahomi, Paddy Yamu, Washington Osifo, Lucky Sebe, and Andrew Jegbai. This morning, the chairman of Edo State Oil and Gas Producing Areas Development Commission, ETSOPADEC, Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, the Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, and the State Secondary Education Board.
This appointment is not just an honor, but a call to service with dedication, integrity, and excellence. You have been chosen because your skill and the trust we have in your ability to contribute meaningfully to the development of our state. I encourage you to work with shared sense of purpose, prioritize teamwork, and remain focused on improving the lives of our citizens. Today, we can make Edo State a model of growth and prosperity.
But in politics and governance, the necessary partner will be a dependable ally. A dependable ally. Both in proficiency, both in hard work proficiency, as well as loyalty. I want to assure you, Mr. Governor, that these 3 elements are embedded in all of us. They are embedded in all of us. There is no way we can talk about development in Edo State without looking back. Because your coming, as I have said, is the perfection of what Atas Oshomole did.
Now to the courts, but still staying in Edo State, the Election Petition Tribunal, sitting on the petition of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and its governorship candidate, Mr. Aso Ogbadalu, challenging the result of the September 21st, 2024 governorship election, is back today after it adjourned yesterday following a delay in the presentation of the witness schedule. The Publicity Secretary of the APC Edo State Chapter, Mr. Peter Awadia Ipiniye, explained that the notice of witness appearance was submitted late by the petitioner as counsels to the respondents raised objections. Meanwhile, some supporters of the APC clashed with security agents outside the tribunal sitting, alleging that one of the security agents has shown bias by intimidating party supporters. replacing the events from yesterday, but Channels Television is there today to bring you all of the updates from that election petition tribunal. But that has been the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayode Okikere, the show of Channels Television, for all of your breaking stories. Goodbye.